What is up, friends? How are you doing today? Hope you're having a great weekend. Welcome back to College Sports Corner. We're going to go over some Media Day stuff. Got a lot of news to get to. We're just going to dive right into it because I said we got a lot of stuff to go over here. Before we start, hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Let's go ahead and jump into the news. Talks have ended. No Big 12, no Pac 12 merger. Don't know what happened, but they just said we're not talking anymore, so it's over. Tennessee, oh boy, Tennessee, some serious trouble here. 18 violations, impermissible recruiting, benefits, totaling $60,000. This all happened under Jeremy Pruitt when he was coach there at Tennessee. Paid prospects and their families. His wife is accused of giving money to a player's mother, equaling like $12,500. His wife was involved. That's crazy. Usually you only hear about the coaches and things like that. You never hear about the wives involved. Good God. But Tennessee won't be charged with lack of institutional control because they have been cooperating. So interesting to see what's going to happen there. What kind of penalties there's going to be, all that good stuff. Big Ten players have had conversations with the commissioner, Kevin Warren, about giving athletes a bigger voice in the future and about improving benefits for players. So it's already starting. California Governor Gavin Newsom is demanding answers from UCLA as why they are leaving the Pac-12 and leaving their system brother, California, behind. So he wants answers. He wants to know why they're leaving. And why aren't they taking California, Berkeley with them? Georgia gives Kirby Smart 10-year, $111 million contract extension. Pretty happy with what he's doing. I mean, hell, they won the championship last year. He will make between $10.25 million and $12.25 million per season. Not a bad paycheck at all. Miami coach Mario Cristobal says the turnover chain and the touchdown rings are gone. They've got more important things to worry about there at the program than those two little rewards they get. So no more turnover chain. I know a lot of people like it. A lot of people think it's dumb. No more, though. It's not going to be around anymore. A little bit of sad news here. Former All-American Notre Dame linebacker Jim Lynch passed away at the age of 76. Maxwell Award winner, captain of the team, helped lead the Irish to the national championship in 1966. He was drafted by the Chiefs and won a Super Bowl with them, too. Super Bowl IV versus Minnesota. So he got a national championship ring and a Super Bowl ring. So prayers to his family, prayers to his friends and former teammates. 76 years old. Pittsburgh coach Pat Narduzzi, he says if Kenny Pickett played in the Peach Bowl, we would have won. If Nick Patty wouldn't have gotten hurt, they would have won. Michigan State would have got their butts kicked. That's what he said. In case you don't remember, Michigan State beat Pitt in the Peach Bowl 31-21. Also, they say he doesn't want to hear about any more SEC Big Ten dominance every year. Well, I mean, probably the two best conferences right now in the country. So, I mean, you're going to hear about it. But, I can understand. It probably gets tired. Texas A&M wide receiver Ainias Smith arrested for DUI, unlawful carrying of a weapon, and possession of pot. Supposed to be in media days this week with Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo left him home, and they're going to see what's going to happen. We were all young. We did stupid things, but sometimes you just wonder what some of these kids today are thinking. Let's go cruise around with a gun while we're drunk and have some pot in the car. Yeah, okay. Always looks like a good decision. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips says ACC is in favor of expanding college football playoff. All I got to say is, oh, now you're in favor, huh? what happened to that opinion back in January and recently. So, NCAA Baseball Rules Committee proposed changes. No more celebratory props on the field. Conferences and coaches can agree to put a runner on second base in extra innings. Action clock changes in the game. These are all proposed. Don't know what else is going to happen. I guess we'll find out over the next few months. Probably definitely before next season starts up in, usually February. A few little basketball items here. Duke and Arizona agreed to a home and home in 2023 and 2024. That'll be pretty good. Clemson leading scorer P.J. Hall will have right knee surgery. No timetable when he will return. Last season, he averaged 16 points a game, 6 rebounds a game. He also had 38 blocks last season. I think the block total might be the half of Clemson's block total. So I think he got half the blocks there, if I read right. The 2022 CBS Sports Classic will be December 17th at Madison Square Garden. It will feature Kentucky versus UCLA, North Carolina versus Ohio State. Might be some pretty good. Those might be pretty good matchups that day. Number 1 overall prospect Gigi Jackson decommits from North Carolina after 3 months. 3 months ago, he said, "I'm going to North Carolina," and kind of wonder if some car dealer in some other town said, "Hey, come here and you can make an appearance at my car dealer, and I'll pay you $500,000 a showing." I mean, with the NIL, what else are you gonna think? So. Okay, SEC Media Days, day 1. Greg Sankey spoke first. He said the conference is not panicking of all things going on in all the other conferences around the country. He has had schools calling in the last 3 to 4 weeks about membership. Didn't elaborate. This was on the SEC Morning. Peter Burns and Chris Doering both asked him, "Hey, what schools?" And of course, he's not going to answer that. So they tried to get us some answers, but he kept his mouth shut. No rush, he says, to expand the SEC. UT and OU haven't been involved in any conference meetings yet. So, say he doesn't worry about when conferences become super conferences and get all these teams in. He says he doesn't worry about the heavyweights knocking each other out of championship contention. So, told coaches in the spring meetings we need to collaborate and work together to solve the problems in the game. No finger pointing or accusations between members should be going on. I think he's probably aiming that at Jimbo and Nick, but could be some others going on we don't know about. All right, so first up on day 1 was LSU's Brian Kelly. His first year at LSU. He was 92-40 in 12 years at Notre Dame. Before we get into this, well, Porter's asked a lot of questions about Notre Dame. And I noticed in the SEC Media Days that there's a lot of dumb questions asked, a lot of wasted opportunities to ask good questions about coaches' teams and how they're going to do this year, what units they like and all that. A lot of stupid questions about Netflix, hair, a couple other stupid ones. I'm like, why are these guys even allowed in here? I mean, I don't know. We tune in to see what the team's going to look like every year, what areas the coaches are concerned about, what areas they love about their team, and then we get these dumbass questions like this. And like this, a lot of questions about Notre Dame. He's not there anymore. Who cares? Why don't you ask him what he's doing, what's going on at LSU? I mean, so anyway, lots of questions. This is my opinion. I'm sorry. Lots of questions about Notre Dame. He wants to restore championship quality football to LSU. Understandable. He's happy with the depth at quarterback. Quarterback, though, has to learn how to take care of the ball and get it to the playmakers. O-line, he said, is a little bit of concern, his offensive line. Every day he said he's working on player trust. Miles Brennan has been a great leader to help get that trust going between the coaches and the players. Has depth and talent in the secondary and wants to recruit the entire state of Louisiana. He says he doesn't just want to concentrate around Baton Rouge and New Orleans. He wants to go up north towards Shreveport and Alexandria and all those places up there. Uh, he did good. I liked him. I liked him on the media days. I think this next one though is my favorite. Lane Kiffin. Third season there, 15-8 at Ole Miss. He says fall camp will show what the offense is going to look like. He's not sure right now. Brought in Charlie Weiss Jr. because he's way ahead of the college game now. They go for it on fourth down so much because they tell their players, we believe in you and you can do it. So, and it does seem Ole Miss does go for it on fourth down a lot. So that's why he tells his players, you can do it. They actually hold the record of fourth down attempts last year. So tells you right there. Says NIL should be capped and coaches should have a part in that. You can tell he's for. I think he's for players getting money. I just don't think he's for this whole NIL thing. He says this created a lot of problems. Wasn't thought out properly when it was first introduced. He does say tradition is being dismantled by conference realignment, and when he also said we all know what that's about. It's about money. He got lots of questions about Alabama, Nick Saban, and USC. Again, wasted opportunities, wasted questions. Why some of these reporters are allowed at media days, I have no clue. Okay, so next up was Missouri Tigers. Elijah Dirkwitz, third season, 11-12 at Mizzou. He said right off the bat he worries about the direction of college athletics. Hope it's not hitting to all money. Not amateur anymore is what he said. College football leaders need to decide where it is and where it is hitting. That's what he said. We all need to figure out where this is going and where it's hitting and how we can, I guess, kind of regulate it. He says, last players and staff have built a foundation to build upon. Has to improve on defense, he said. Missouri's got to improve on defense. He does say the O-line is the most experienced unit. Lots of depth of running back and wide receiver. Quarterback and punter positions will be decided in fall camp. He says the Southeastern Conference East is improving. And if a lot of you remember, back in mid-90s all the way up to, I guess, the mid-2000s, most of the power was in the East. Remember? You had Florida, you had Georgia, Tennessee. South Carolina was doing good back then, really good. And then over in the West, you had, I don't know, Arkansas did okay, LSU, Mississippi State, and that was about it. I mean, Auburn did okay. But, it seemed like all the power was in the East back then, and now he says it's coming back to the East, so we'll see if he's right. Summer and fall camp is when he will discover the identity of his team. So, anyway, that's it there. Let's see. Day 2 started off with Alabama's Nick Saban. 15th season, 178-25. 25 losses. That's all he's lost. I bet most of those came in 2007, maybe even 2008. But, because I don't think they've lost more than, maybe 2 a year since he's been there. He said the team's had a really good spring and summer. Physical and attitude development of the team is very good. He's had a lot of roster turnover this offseason. So it's hard to figure out what the team's identity is until he gets the team all together. Developing players' futures in football and in life is the most important thing that his staff wants to do. Seniors on the team are providing great leadership right now. It's a challenge to replace all his skill players, O-line, and secondary, which sounds reasonable. Needs to be protocol for NIL. A lot of these coaches are saying this. To maintain fairness, need to protect the players from bad things going on. I think that was the attitude of a lot of coaches there at SEC Media Days and Big 12. Um, like we said before, it's like a bank being robbed, and then a year later, the cops saying, "Oh yeah, guess we better do something about this. Let's get on the trail of that." I mean, they just threw it out there last summer. All right, NIL, go for it, and that was it. They just all went back to smoking cigars and drinking whiskey and didn't worry about it. And now it's starting to become a little big of a problem there. Saban says a lot of people are using NIL to induce players to come to their schools. I think we all knew that was going to happen. Wants to know, how do we place guidelines on NIL to keep a competitive balance? Offensive line rebuild is the biggest challenge for him this season. And it says if we move towards mega conferences, it will throw off the competitive balance. So that was Nick Saban. Vanderbilt up next. Clark Lee, second year, 2-10. Long opening statement. He made a long opening statement. To me, his opening statement sounded like he was applying for a job, like a job interview. Everything he was saying, what he wanted to do at Vandy, and the things he could do at Vandy. It sounded like he was lobbying for a job from the athletic director. But anyway, yeah, long opening statement. Their first game is at Hawaii. I mean, how cool is that? First game Vanderbilt at Hawaii. Those players are excited about that. Views their players as future community leaders. He went in how a lot of his players are doing things around the community of Nashville, and he's real proud of that. He teaches players to stay tethered to values and principles. Last year stripped them down to their studs, he said. A brotherhood was formed after the bad season last year was over. 30 new scholarship players added. Team will be young and inexperienced. Sounds like something Vanderbilt doesn't need, but he did say the team became bigger, faster, stronger last spring, and the chemistry between the players and the coaches developed. So that's always good. Next up, Mississippi State's Mike Leach. The guy's entertaining. Remember how we used to always look forward to certain coaches? What's Spurrier going to say? What's Ed O going to say? Now we got Mike Leach. What's he going to say? And Lane Kiffin, too. Lane Kiffin tends to say what he feels. Doesn't make it insulting to anybody, but he gets his opinion across without really stepping on toes and stuff. So the guys from Mississippi, they're pretty entertaining. 11 and 13 in 2 seasons. He walks up to the mic. If you didn't see it, says, "I have no opening statement. What's your questions?" So says he hates opening statements. He sees no point. He says on paper they are a young team, need to polish up receiver play, get sharper. He said the kicking game looks really good. I know he had an issue with kickers a year or 2 ago. Yeah, see some more wasted questions with him. What's your Netflix recommendations? And are you on Nick or Jimbo's side? Whatever. He said the best way to improve your football team is to improve yourself. And you can probably take that any place in life, work, home, whatever. So pretty good there. Scheme doesn't matter. Execution does. Doesn't care for the rules that limit trick plays. He said, wish he still had the drop kick play. So anyway, that was Mike Leach. Pretty entertaining guy. South Carolina, Shane Beamer, second year. They went 7-6 last year. They won the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Probably exceeded expectations last year. I didn't think they would even make it to a bowl game, but a lot of talk about South Carolina. A lot of buzz about them. So we'll see what's going to happen in the second year. He says the goal to keep the best players in the state of South Carolina at home. So, a lot of these coaches have said that they want to get their best players in their state to their schools and quit having to go outside all over the country looking for them when they're right there in your backyard. So that's what one of his goals is. He says work ethic, maturity, and hunger on his team has impressed him in the last few months. But the team does need to be more consistent in certain areas. Lost a lot on defense last year, including 2 captains. So he said 22 of his players are playing as graduates. And if they make it to a bowl game, there'll be 9 more that have graduated that are still playing. So that's pretty cool. He loves his quarterback depth this year. Says the depth at that position is really good. So he's happy with that. So that moved on to day 3. Started off with Arkansas Sam Pittman, 3rd season, 12-11. Coach Pittman says, want to be physical and tough on both sides of the ball, which I think every coach does. Wants the program to be loyal, tough, and hardworking. Another thing most coaches probably want. His experience recruiting for junior college when he was at a junior college helps him recruiting today and in the transfer portal at Arkansas. So all that experience from a smaller school says it helps Arkansas. He likes his wide receiver group. He says he likes what he's seeing from them. Says the other sports success there at Arkansas is influencing his football team to get better. So I mean, it makes sense. I mean, say you're this guy here and everybody around you is up here, it kind of gives you influence to work harder so you can get up there. So it's probably a good deal. Arkansas is having all this success with their other sports. Lost a lot on defense. Transfer portal has helped replenish them. Says Arkansas is just competing. They aren't back yet. A lot of people last year after they beat Texas the way they did, and a lot of the success are saying, oh, Arkansas is back. He says, no, we're not. Right now we're just competing. If we work hard, we can get back to that level. He says he expects the D-line to be a lot better this year. And up next, your national championship coach, if you're a Georgia fan, Kirby Smart. 7th season, 66-15. He wants to build the program to be sustained. He just doesn't want to be a one and done. He's talking like 10, 11 win seasons. That's good and all, but he wants to be competing for championships all the time. So I would guess that he wants to build a program to be sustained. I'm guessing if you're playing for a national championship, if not every year, every other year, you've probably got your program sustained. So that's what he's shooting for. Team has meetings constantly after they won the championship about how the mighty fall. How the mighty fall in sports, how they've fallen in business, how they've fallen in life. So that's how he's trying to keep his players grounded that, hey, when you're on top, someone's looking to knock you down. And a lot of times it happens. So that's what he's been doing. He's also said his team is lacking in experience in certain areas. Since last year, he has been working on being the best conditioned team. He said the team is hungry. Players want to prove they can replace and play better than the players that have left. He says he's extremely confident in his quarterback depth, which I don't blame him. 95 roster players have NIL deals, he said. NIL deal being used to induce players to come to a school is not a good thing. Even though he has 95 players with NIL deals. Next up, Florida, Billy Napier. I'm really interested to see how Billy Napier does at Florida. He did a pretty damn good job at Louisiana Lafayette. I know it's, I don't know, maybe a smaller tier team, as you would say, in the Sun Belt Conference, but still, he's a good coach. Look what he did there. First year at Florida, he won the Sun Belt Conference Championship last year at Louisiana. He was 40-12 in 4 seasons with the Raging Cajuns. Had 3 10-win seasons. He's the only coach in program history to do that. So that's why I'm kind of interested to see how he does here in the Southeast Conference of Florida. Very pleased with the offseason. Team has embraced the hard work that they put him through. Wants to create an organization that has life-changing impact on players, which I think most coaches do. Wants to improve player character. Likes his team's talent. Learned a lot about adversity from his father. Character or compromise? Which one are you going to adapt and adopt when things go down? Impressed with quarterback Anthony Richardson's energy and work ethic. All right. Next up, Mark Stoops from Kentucky. Pretty impressive what he's done there. 59-53 in 9 seasons. He's 1 win shy of tying Bear Bryant's record at Kentucky. So he wins 2 this year, which I know he'll probably win a lot more than that. He'll break Bear Bryant's record there at Kentucky. Actually came out and thanked the media for doing the individual stories about his players. He likes what they wrote, likes what they talked about, his players. So he thanked the media for that. Kentucky's motto is build, select, and develop. Happy with the quarterback, the running back, and the kicking units. Proud of being able to keep Kentucky kids at home. So there's a lot of good players in the state of Kentucky. They were going other places. He's happy he's been able to keep some of them back home there in Kentucky. Another NIL. NIL is complex. Good and bad. Pay for play is a big issue right now. Yeah, I think we all knew that was going to happen soon from a year ago. He says he needs playmakers to step up in the wide receiver positions. Makes sense if you're happy with your quarterback or running back units. You need that wide receiver unit to step up. It says Kentucky needs to stay consistent. Yeah, I think most coaches would agree with that. Next up. Well, actually, next day, day 4, Brian Harsin, Auburn, 2nd year, 6-7. Man, these guys, Auburn, they got 8 home games this year. The first 5 games are at home, and then they have 3 other ones, and they only got 4 away games. I mean, man, talk about a hell of a schedule. He did come out and say, I'm going to address what happened a few months ago. We're going to talk about it right now, and that's going to be it. We're going to be done with it. So he did talk about that, all the crap that happened a few months ago, got it behind him. Then he came out and said, proud of where his team is at. Football program was united after all that stuff that happened back in February. The football team, the other coaches, they were all united together when all this happened. So it sounds like the football team and the coaches are all behind him. It's just like everybody else that has to do with Auburn isn't. So at least that's just what I got out of it. He says, as we build, have to continue to lay out expectations, keep growing and building every day. Great energy in the program that recruits are coming and seeing. So he's happy with that. This program is all about development through character, dignity, and class, he says. Really excited about his tight ends and his offensive lines. Secondary, he says, the secondary is good, but it is young. So, next up was Tennessee's Josh Heupel, 2nd season, 7-6. There weren't any questions about the allegations or anything. I was kind of shocked about that. He says he's happy with the improvements of his team in the offseason. The culture they have created has kept a lot of players at Tennessee. That was a bit, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but that was a big thing with all these coaches. They all want to keep the players in their state home going to their school. So that's been a big thing lately. He said the work habits have been positive. Wants team to start finishing better. I think he mentioned there were like 4 or 5 games where they could have won, but they just ran out of gas and ended up losing. So he wants them to learn how to finish better. He's taken, if you remember right, he quarterbacked the 2000 National Championship Oklahoma team. So he says he has taken his work ethic and his work habits from his playing days and installed them into his team. So if he's doing that, I think he's going to be pretty successful there. Being real, transparent, and listening to players have made them gain confidence in him. So he talked about how he went in there, his players would say something, and he listened to them. And if he could, he implemented it into wherever area. So he says that's working pretty good there. Have to be better on defense and third and long, red zone, and getting pressure on the quarterback. Tells players you're going to see and hear outside noise. Don't soak it in. So I'm wondering if that was a reference to the upcoming investigation going on. He said one of their best tools is an up-tempo offense. Utilize the run game. That was it for him. Texas A&M Jimbo Fisher up. He was the last coach. Third season, 34-14. Said they didn't play well last season in critical situations. Injuries last year hampered them. Injuries last year hampered them. But young guys got to play and got experience. So he says that's going to help them this year. Says he and Nick are good. They both learned from it. No unification in NIL. There needs to be. Everyone must have the same rules. Happy the way the quarterbacks are working together and progressing. Said offensive line will be very good. Big strength of the team. Says he loves the tight end unit that he's got. Depth and talent, that will help them finish games. And says they're in position to be a top 10 program. When you're an Aggie fan like me, you're very optimistic and you really want to just wait and see what happens before you make a prediction or anything. I mean, we've learned that over the years. So I hope so, but hey, never know. Okay, so for some reason, SEC Media Days and ACC Media Days are on the same days. So I don't know who make these decisions, but like we've said before, this is America now. You got stupid people making important decisions every day. And one was done here. So I was working. I set up my DVR for SEC Media Days and the ACC Media Days because, supposedly DVRs now can record 5,000 shows at the same time. Well, that didn't happen. ACC didn't get recorded. Pissed me off. I was ready to call up the satellite provider and say, your shit sucks. Come and get it. It'll be in the freaking front yard. But I didn't. I cooled down. So, I was looking up, okay, well, what happened? What was said? Not really anything coaches said. I mean, there might be a line or two from a coach, but that was it. I was like, really? That's the coverage? But I did find a lot. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips said. Okay, here's some things he said. Would love to have Notre Dame join the ACC. If they were to stop being independent, he is confident they would join the ACC conference. I always said Big Ten conference, but then again, they did get, I think they got an invite 25, 30 years ago to join the Big Ten, and they said, nah. So, but I always hope they would, because seeing Notre Dame versus Big Ten schools every year would be pretty good. But Jim Phillips says if they do stop being independent, they're coming to the ACC. And you know why they're coming to the ACC? Because Jim Phillips says it's the best conference in America. All right, so he feels confident that the schools will, all the schools in the ACC will stay there. No one will leave. Although there were some talks on TV this week about Florida State be making a great fit in the SEC. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. He says all the schools are on the same page. They all have the same ideas. They're all thinking the same. Again, says there's no better conference in the country than the ACC. I don't know. Maybe basketball, but football. I mean, I know they have teams that were once great. Remember Florida State? Remember Virginia Tech? Clemson, they had a bad year last year. I suspect they'll be back. North Carolina, Mac Brown's first go around there, 10-win seasons. I think they'll be better too. So, especially with Gene Chizik back over there. I don't think it's the best conference right now, but he does, so I guess that's all that matters. I mean, Anyway, NIL has disguised recruiting inducements and are impacting college sports in a negative way. I think most of the coaches and ADs and conference commissioners agree on that. Says we need uniformity. Congress needs to get involved. I wouldn't go that far. Getting Congress involved. I think we've seen over the last couple of decades, they can't even run a country right. Do you really think they're going to fix the NIL thing? I mean, come on, man. I have more. I got more confidence in this table right here fixing NIL better than the Congress. I mean, come on. So anyway, all right. So that's it. This week, I have to look on the schedule. Here in the next couple of weeks, you're gonna have Big Ten and Pac-12 media days. Big Ten media days. Of course, I'll be on the Big Ten network, and Pac-12 we're gonna be on Pac-12 network. Can't really find any information on the other conferences. I remember Mountain West. They used to have a channel. I don't know if they still do, but they used to have a Mountain West channel, and they used to have their media days on there a few years back. So, anyway, yeah, those are coming up. I believe we got what, five Saturdays, 6 Saturdays left. Starts on August 27th. Illinois Northwestern, right? Is it Illinois Northwestern? I think it's Illinois Northwestern. I might have the teams mixed up. Anyway, they'll be playing on that first Saturday. They call it Week 0, which is probably one of the dumbest terms I've ever heard. But they're playing in, I think, Ireland. It's like, why? Why the hell are you playing in Ireland for? But that's what they want to do. So, yeah, 5 or 6 weeks left, man. All right, so we're going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good week. Stay safe. We'll be back next weekend sometime to go over, like I said, I think pretty sure the Big Ten media days are Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or Thursday and Friday. And then go over any other stuff. So have a good week. We'll see you next time.